Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dante, and in this video I'm going to be telling you about how I actually became like a real true Christian. So back whenever I was young, I always went to church and everything. My mom always took me there, so I always like believed in God, but something told me just inside of me there has to be something more than just coming to church and then that's it. Like there has to be something more than that. So like I've always been like a free thinker in some aspects. Some things I've like, gone along with the like indoctrination and the system and how other people thought, but there was just some moments where I just thought to myself, I was just like, that doesn't seem right. And but I always like kept it to myself because I'm like, I know it's hard to see through like here, but I'm like very reserved. I can be shy. Like I can be out in the open, but I can be like reserved by myself because I like to think. And but school and whatnot and the people who I hung around, it actually calcified and it minimized my free thinking abilities and how I free think now, because I'm typically I'm not by myself all the time, but I basically have like a thought, be like, okay, I'm going to actually, like think and see if this is like right and if this makes sense. So one day I'm at children's church and on a Sunday, and they was telling us about like heaven and whatnot, and being baptized and everything, and I was just like, so I'm going along with like what they're saying, and I was just like, this sounds interesting. Like this sounds good. And they was like, yeah, if you get baptized and you accept Jesus, you'll be able to have like a eternal spot in heaven. And most kids will be like following what their friends are doing. Not me. I looked at what was going on. I listened to what they were saying, and I was just like, okay, yeah, this is what I want. I want to have a spot in heaven. So this happened whenever I was 9 years old. I remember specifically because I was in 3rd grade. I was just like, yeah, I want to go to heaven, so I'm going to give my life to Christ. There was a couple of people who was like, nah, I'm not ready for it. I was just like, man, forget what y'all are talking about. I'm giving my life to Christ. So I gave my life to Christ whenever I was well, at least I thought I did. So, and then we got taken into like the actual sanctuary, and it was like me and 2 or 3 other kids. And then our parents all came up, and then the pastor told everyone what was going on, and then everyone started to like, praising God and whatnot. And my mom started crying, and I was just like, what are you crying for? Like, what are you crying for? And then as time went on, I realized why she was crying. Like, I know now, but whenever I was a kid, I had no idea like why she was crying. So from that moment, I've actually been welcomed into God's family, but there was still something that was off. I was just like, man, there's still something missing other than I can't just, like get baptized, accept Jesus, and then just come to church and then that's it. Like there has to be something more. And I never read my Bible or anything. My mom never taught me to read the Bible or anything. And I was just like, something's missing. So 7th grade, no, the day before 8th grade, I was somebody told me about the 2012 situation with the Mayan calendar and how the world was supposed to end. I don't know, some of y'all may not remember that, some of y'all might. So anyway, I learned a glimpse about what was supposed to go down in 2012, because the year was 2009 whenever like I found out about this. And I started crying to my mom. I was like, oh, the world's gonna end and whatnot. And my mom was just looking at me like she had literally no idea what to say. She just looked at me like I was crazy. And that did not give me any sort of comfort at all. So what I did, I started going online and I started like searching about like the Mayan calendar, the end of the world. And there was this one video, and it was like a Christian video. It was like, don't worry about 2012, in Matthew chapter 24. And this is how I got introduced into the Bible. And he started saying like, no one knows the day or the hour, this Mayan calendar, it's all bogus, don't believe it and everything. And right there it gave me like a sense of hope. And he didn't tell, that guy did not tell me the bad things that was going to happen in Matthew chapter 24. He just pointed out one chapter of the Bible that no one knows the day or the hour. And I was just like, interesting. So that gave me a source of comfort. So ever since that video, I had like this new confidence and whatnot, but I still was not, doing what I was supposed to do in the Lord. But I did gain that confidence in the Lord that I can trust him in his word. So I'm in high school. Everyone knows that I'm a Christian. Every single person knows that I'm a Christian. And I believe, to be honest with you, I believe I was like the most outspoken of like being a Christian and everything. Everyone knew I was, but my actions did not line up with my words and what I was saying. I did not drink or smoke or go to any parties like that, but I did have a filthy mouth. My actions did not line up with my words, and then on top of that, I was a class clown. So yeah, like it was pretty hard to distinguish that I was actually a Christian sometimes. By this time, high school ended and I had to go to college, so I was taking things a little bit more seriously, and I had a girlfriend at this time. And something still told me that, like, I'm still not, there has to be something more than just, going to church and everything. Like, this is whenever it amplified right here. So, going to college, had a girlfriend, and I started researching some stuff, and I came across, let's just say, evil people. I came across a whole bunch of conspiracy theories and how people were exposing it. And so I started looking at videos such as Vigilant Christian and A Call for an Uprising, and how they were telling me all this stuff. It was completely blowing my mind to something that was completely, I didn't even know that was possible. I was just like, what? Like, I cannot believe like this stuff is happening and this is real. And I didn't come into it and I was just like, oh, you're lying. Nah, there's no way that these celebrities and these people are doing that. I went in there with an open mind. They presented the evidence to me, and I listened to everything that they were saying, and I was just like, that makes sense. That makes sense. That adds up together. That connects the dots. Like, everything is making sense. I was very shocked because I was just like, man, I've never come across these sort of Christians ever. And like, they were Christians because they stated it. They put Bible scriptures in their videos. They talked about Jesus, and I was just like, wow. I was just like, man, that's crazy to me. And so like, whenever I was like going through social media and whatnot, and like these Bible Christian pages and whatnot, I was just like, there has to be something more than just this goody stuff. I was just like, there has to be something more. And then I came across these two, and I was just like, okay, these are some real Christians here, because they're telling me something from the other side of the spectrum. And then I came across Up TV, Truth Unedited, and a whole bunch of other, like, I came across a lot of channels. So by this time, like I said, this is whenever my awakening started to happen. So what happened was, and I still was not reading the Bible, I was just looking at their videos every single day. Like how some people strictly rely on TikTokers and like they want them to say something. That's exactly what I was doing. So the girlfriend that I had at the time, I started telling her all these things, and she thought that I was crazy. Because she hasn't heard anything like this either. And whenever like I presented it to her, it really like made her, I'm sure that it made her feel uncomfortable, because something like that's not really like just an everyday topic that you can just talk about shit off the bat. You can't just do that. So I'm telling her all these things, and I kind of felt alone because she wasn't listening to what I was saying. I mean, she was listening, but it was just like, it's too much for anyone who's not like ready for that sort of talk, and they haven't been exposed to something like that yet. So some time goes on, and we're not together at this point, and this happened back in 2019, right before lockdown happened. And I told myself, I was just like, you know what? Because all I was doing was watching videos. I wasn't researching the word for myself. I wasn't doing anything for myself. All I was just watching videos. So, so what I did when lockdown first happened, I said, you know what? I really need to like get like a study Bible. And then whenever I get that, I need to actually like read the Bible on my own. I can't just rely on people anymore. This is getting ridiculous. And I was living as a lukewarm Christian because I had another girlfriend at the time, and we was doing things that we wasn't supposed to be doing, because we're not married or anything. And I was still making some daily decisions that was still bad, and that's not good in living a Christian lifestyle. As soon as I got that Bible, whenever it was lockdown time, I immediately started going through the Word. I started in Matthew, made my way all the way through. I was just like, man, I didn't, like, I knew Jesus did stuff and everything because like I've said since the beginning of the video, like I've been a Christian like my whole life, but I wasn't living as a Christian should have. So I'm doing all these things, I'm researching and everything, and I was just like, wow, like I can't believe Jesus did all this. I didn't know that was in here. And then I kept reading and everything. Like I constantly kept reading, and I was just like, okay. I said, this is actually nuts. And I kept everything to myself, and I was telling my friend about all these things. I was just like, yo, like it's saying all this in the Bible, like I didn't know this was in here. And I'm increasing my relationship with Jesus, straight up increasing it like to a level where I've never pushed it before. And so within like, I believe like 6, 7, 8 months, I finished the New Testament. And then I read it over and over and over again, you know. And then that's whenever I got another Bible and another Bible and another Bible, like all these different translations and whatnot. And I was just like, okay, because first I started off with NIV. That was the Bible that I originally started off with, Lockdown. And then I went to NLT, and then I got a NKJV and an ESV Bible. And I was just like, I don't need no more Bibles, so I'm just gonna stick to what I have now. And then that's whenever I came across TikTok. This is when TikTok was at its peak because of lockdown, and he was just like, yo, you need to go on TikTok and you need to say this, that, you need to spread the word. And I was just like, man, I'm not going on there and I'm not saying nothing to nobody. I have nothing to say. I'm going to keep everything to myself. I mean, somebody else can do it. I'm sure there's other people on there. They don't need me. They don't need someone like me. I just want to stay focused on myself right now. Whenever I told him no, I started coming across more people and more channels such as Ray Comfort and Frank Turek. And then on top of that, I was like reading the word for myself. But then immediately, and I mean immediately, I started feeling in my spirit, you need to go on TikTok or you need to go somewhere and teach. And I kept hearing it over and over and over again. You need to go somewhere and you need to teach. And I was just like, man, I said, I don't want to do that though. So I got started getting convicted. I was just like, man, okay. So I started off on YouTube last year. Started off on YouTube, and I made it at most to like 1,000 views because I talked about like my rapture dream and everything. And I was just like, wow, like people really want to know about the rapture and everything. But like typically I was only getting like 10 views. Like there were some people who was listening to what I have to say, but on average, I was getting like 5 to 10 views. I wasn't getting anywhere. So I was just like, what is the point of me, like, you know, putting my heart and soul into this, and I'm not literally getting anywhere. And then the views started going down. So I was just like, I said, there's no point for me to stay on YouTube. So I stopped putting and producing videos on YouTube. But then my friend suggested again, go on TikTok. And it was always stuck in the back of my head. So I was just like, you know what? Let me go on TikTok, and because I had a TikTok ever since last November, and I was always using it, but like I never produced any content. So went on TikTok, and I was just like, you know what? Oh well, I'll say what I have to say, and then started going on there, and I started like within the very first, because I did not expect to get an audience that I have now, like at all. I only expected, like I said before, I've said this multiple times, I only want 50 solid people to hear what I have to say. And I have literally thousands of people who hear what I have to say now. That's how much God has actually branched me out. And so now, because it says in the Bible, you know, the teachers, they will actually be judged harsher on Judgment Day. So now because I already know people look up to me and whatnot, I tell them not to. I want them to, you know, I want to be like the intercessory to like Jesus. Like I'm just like a leaf. Like I'm only like one small part of the body of Christ. There's plenty of other people out there, and we're all like little, like, you know, like tree. Well, I mean, I'm not the whole grand scheme of this thing. Jesus is, not me. I know I went a little bit off subject, but that was basically it. Like, I've been like a true Christian for about like 2 years now, like, to be honest with you. And even though I was like a Christian my whole life, I wasn't doing exactly what I was supposed to be doing. I was not reading my Bible. I was not, you know, I wasn't doing any of those things. I still have my struggles now, obviously. We're always going to have those because we live in this sinful body. You know, but like me, like devoting myself to God and reading the Bible and everything, this is like kind of new to me. So, and I've stuck with it. I've like backslid a little bit. You know, I'm getting, and then I got on track with that. But whenever I was like living in the world and everything, I was not doing what I'm doing now. Like I'm actually like really devoted to this. And throughout my whole entire life, whenever like I get into something, it's like something that doesn't last very long. I get into it and be like, okay, I'm going on to something else, and then I get hooked to something else. But with Jesus and like my relationship with the Lord, this is something completely different and something that like I'm going to like hold on to for forever, pretty much. This isn't just going to be like something where like I get into it and then I'm done with it. This is a whole, you know, like that I'm going to be staying with for forever, for the rest of eternity. So that was my story in like a short version. So I really hope that helped out. I want to thank you for watching the video. You have a blessed day.